You probably heard the phrase David versus Goliath, but do you really know the story as to why David won the fight? How David beat the giant Goliath? Well, let me tell you the story. This is the battle of Philistines and Israelites a long time ago, and the Israelites and the Philistines decide to settle the battle by sending their best warrior for a one-on-one battle, and both the sides have to send their elite warriors. So the Philistines send Goliath, who's a 6'9" giant, covered in armor, strong and powerful, has all the weapons you can imagine, sword and sheath and everything else, while the Israelites don't have anyone who can match Goliath. So they are now struggling to find someone to go fight Goliath. A young shepherd boy stands up and says, I will go fight Goliath. His name is David. Now the King Saul at the time realizes that there's no other option, so he says, okay, well, go fight. At the same time, he offers the young boy armor and weapons just so that he could have a fighting chance. But David, the shepherd boy, declines it all. He says, they are of no use to me. I'm a shepherd. I don't need this armor. I don't need these weapons. And here's what David does. David runs into the valley where Goliath is eagerly waiting for him. And as he's running into the valley, he's whipping around his slingshot faster and faster and faster as he runs towards Goliath. The slingshot is loaded with a stone the size of a small orange. Now, as he is around 35 meters away from Goliath, he slings the stone at Goliath, and the stone hits Goliath in his head at 80 miles per hour or 125 kilometers per hour. It fractures his skull, leaves him unconscious or almost dead, and David then cuts his head off, wins the battle. So what are the key lessons to learn from the battle of David and Goliath? Well, there are three key lessons. The first is there is disadvantage in advantage. Now, Goliath is a giant. He's a giant warrior covered in armor, has all sorts of weapons. But the downside is that because he's covered in all these armor, he cannot move quickly. And also because he's a giant, he has some sort of a growth hormone problem, which has caused problems with his eyesight, so he cannot really see long distance. The other key lesson is that there is advantage in disadvantage. Now, David is a small kid, but even though he's small, he moves really fast. He's nimble, and he takes Goliath by surprise. And he's a shepherd, not a warrior. That's another disadvantage on the side of David, but he turns it into an advantage. Why? Because as a shepherd, he's a really good marksman with his sling, because that's what he does. That's what he uses to kill wild animals, and that's what he uses to kill Goliath. And the third key lesson is that we have to change the game to play to our own advantages. So David played his game. He played his game of slingshots. He did not go for a close combat with Goliath. He did not want to play Goliath's game of swords and sheaths and armor. He played his own game. And he played by his rules. He did not try to get close to Goliath and go fight with him there. He slung the shot as he was running towards Goliath, who didn't even realize what was coming at him before it was too late.
So if you enjoyed the lessons from this book, I'm sure you will also enjoy the lessons from some of the greatest personal development books ever written. So right here, I have created a playlist for you in which I have summarized over 10 of the greatest personal development books, including Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Getting Things Done, and many other great books. So click right here to watch this playlist. Now, if you learned something new from this book summary, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We're now publishing new book summaries every Monday and Wednesday right here.